All right. Thank you, everybody. As Michael said, my name is Dan. I work with Altitude Advisory. So I'm the Xero champion in the building. So I deal a lot with client switching from MyOb or spreadsheets or shoeboxes to Xero, and a lot of the add-ons. So I get to test a lot of the latest releases and things like that. So you might actually see a few things on my screen that are probably a little bit different to your own if you're already using Xero, because they're still in a bit of a testing phase. So I'm just going to run through just general sort of Xero, how it works, some of the integrations, and then we're going to look at a few of the add-on partners, so being Stripe, GoCardless, and Practice Ignition. So Xero is a brilliant cloud-based software, but it does have some limitations, and that's where a lot of these add-ons kick in. So there's a marketplace with over 1,000 different add-ons that are all tailored for different things, which is fantastic, because if you take something like Xero, which is a great foundation, for very little extra, you can clip on an add-on and it can do specifically what you need, rather than going after a tailored solution, which can be quite costly. So given we've got not a massive number tonight, I just thought maybe we'll go around the room if everybody just wants to introduce themselves, say their name, where they're from, what software they're currently using, and why you're here tonight. So, and I already know you, so I'm going to pick on you.
My name's Anne. Our business, my husband's a sailmaker, so our business is Bravo Sales, and I encouraged our business to move on to Xero probably about 7 years ago, and I'm completely addicted to it, so I absolutely love it.
That's after I encouraged you, though.
Yeah, no, did you?
Yeah, I did.
She's missed that out, obviously.
But,
People forget.
and we're in a very busy time at the moment, expanding. Everybody wants to go to some new sales, so that's really good. So I'm particularly interested in Stripe to give our customers another option of how to pay and pay quicker, make it easy for them.
My name's Linus, KL Plumbing, and we're transitioning from Cashflow Manager to Xero. So
Great decision. Great decision.
We won't regret it.
okay.
And yourself?
And Gabrielus, I am a hairdresser, I have my own salon. We have some rental properties as well, so yeah, the same story, cash flow manager to this.
Yeah.
So,
It's not two great decisions. Back, please. Thank you.
Peter, sole trader
Yep.
in the IT industry,
Yep.
looking after customers, still using Excel 2013.
Yeah. It's a good version. Good version.
HLP manager, my name's Travis. I'm just here to get some more information on Xero and the extra services that it can provide.
No worries.
Oh, myself?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm Gemma. I'm in the process of launching an e-commerce business. So I've started using Xero and I'm about to start using Stripe, so getting a better idea of functionality.
Yep.
Great watches, by the way.
So you watch it now?
Oh yeah, it's a watch business. So it's a private label
Watch
watch
this
business
space.
that I'll
What's
will
this
be
space?
online. Literally, yeah.
Really, really nice.
Next time we catch up, I should tell you all about it.
Yeah.
There'll be a promo code at the end of the session. And last but not least.
Travis, been with.
Yeah, this is a guy you want to know.
So yeah, I'm a bit confusing. So one of my businesses will make sense to you, one won't. So my primary business is I sell kids' toys. So we're the largest toy supplier to independent supermarkets in South Australia. So Drake's and On the Run are our two biggest customers, and we're doing some really good things there. And then I offered to mentor my tattoo artist, who was homeless as an artist at the start of the year, into how he could open a studio, and he had a mild panic attack, and to quote him, asked if we could fucking Shark Tank it. So we did that. So I'm now a co-owner of a tattoo studio as well, which is not good.
Getting a lot of contra.
Yeah, but, yeah. There's a lot more. Yeah, I don't pay for tattoos anymore, so yeah. So yeah.
Not that you need to, mate.
Yeah. Just heads up, back hurts a whole lot more than arms.
No dramas. As Michael touched on, I'm just going to sort of run over some of the basics. If anyone has any specific questions, feel free to fire them at me and I'll probably just handball them back to the MasterTax team. But so essentially Xero is, as some of you already know, a cloud-based software system. So you can just log in through a web browser, Google Chrome, something like that. There's no need to have an icon on your desktop. Something like a MyOb, and not to bag MyOb, that's a perfectly good system, but you have to constantly install updates and things like that. So Xero will update during the night, so it doesn't cause you any downtime unless you're up working at 3 a.m. on a Sunday night on the 16th of August or something like that. And what happens is a little bit of setup work. Once you set your file up, you have to connect all your bank accounts. So this is a demo company we've set up. And you can see there's a business bank account, a business savings account. If you had a credit card, if you were using PayPal, for instance, everything can flow straight into Xero. And then you have basically a live bank feed. So every day, this updates, all the transactions come through. And essentially, you don't really miss a cent. So if you're paying everything through your business bank account, if you're trying to maintain this through a shoebox or an Excel file or something like that, where you're manually inputting receipts, you put a receipt on your dashboard, it turns brown after a week, and then there's an expense you've missed out on. So with this, allows you to capture everything. Very simple to reconcile. So you just jump into the bank account, all your transactions basically flow through. And Xero does a lot of machine learning and recognises a lot of things where it will match them automatically, and just in this case, it's a rental expense. You just hit OK. That's reconciled it, sends it to your profit and loss. Works the same for balance sheet transactions, and basically helps form the basis for everything else that's going on. Great functionality as well to try and automate processes in this, which are going to save you time. So for instance, this NAB bank fee, you can just set that up once as a reoccurring transaction. Every single month when that comes in, it automatically knows it's a bank fee. You just hit OK, and that's job done. So from a time-saving point of view, it's absolutely amazing. I think usually if you're going to implement something in your business, you want to do it because it's either going to save you time, save you some money, or it's going to add to your customer experience. So I think this is definitely a massive time-saving thing. And in terms of saving you money, well, obviously if you've got more time, you can spend that on high payoff activities, which are going to generate you more money. There's the ability to add to invoice from here, and as well to add bills, which again will automatically match in your bank transaction and appear via list here. So we can see here city limousines. This is just a demo, so it's probably not set up, but there is a part payment that we could allocate to this if we want, and it's just as simple as ticking. In this case, we're going to split this payment, and that part of that transaction gets reconciled pretty easily. So, does anyone have any questions in terms of bank reconciliation screen?
Just
yes,
one.
Gemma.
So if you've got your bank feed set up
Yep.
and Stripe, so if you've got a purchase and then Stripe is then paid into your bank account, will it automatically connect those two transactions?
Yeah, correct. So as you saw, so basically it'd come up like this.
Okay.
So it's identifying that relates to that transaction, and it'd just be as simple as hitting OK.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Part of the options there,
Yep.
if you've got lazy customers who never reference what they're paying for,
Yep.
can you edit that yourself before you OK it?
Yeah, so what happens in that instance here, so something like this has come in, you'd enter who it's from, so who the customer is. You just basically start typing their name and it comes up. Choose what account it goes to, so if it's sales income, that's simple, and then you just enter the description and you can hit OK. So I'll just jump on the laptop to demo that one for you. So in this case, there's Jack Aranda. sales, and could be something simple as sales income. We hit OK, and then you'll be able to view that in your transaction list. Pretty straightforward. So that's bank recs. Deals very well with internal transfers too. So if you're just moving, if you're say you've got a credit card connected and you're just paying off your monthly credit card, you just hit transfer, select another account from the drop down and simply hit OK, and it will reconcile it in the corresponding credit card, which is all accessed through your dashboard. Some other good features, so your dashboard is essentially your home screen where you manage everything from. Gives us a snapshot of invoices that are owed to us, outstanding. So we can see here there's 4 in draft, 13 awaiting payment, and there's 12 overdue at a value of 25,000. Same as bills you need to pay. Gives you a snapshot of what's overdue and what's in draft and essentially awaiting payment. You can then simply just click on this item here, and it just takes you to a summary of everything that's overdue, how many days it's overdue by. You can email all these invoices out as well. So you store every time you set up an invoice, if it's a new client, you just set up their contact details, attach their email. You can send it to them. This status will update to view if somebody's viewed it. There's also the option of adding invoice reminders. So if you don't want to have to contact people and phone them, and although that usually is the best way to sort of get the money in the bank, it's pretty simple to just set up a reoccurring invoice reminder feature. So in this case, we can send an email out 7 days overdue, 14 days, 21 days due. You can even set it up so that 5 days before an invoice due, it's just remind you this payment is up and coming. Again, that's going to save you time because you're not going to have to be on the phone, you're not going to have to be chasing people up, and it's great. So, and that'll just send it out as a PDF. So as I said, there's an option to invoice straight out of Xero, which is again pretty straightforward, just as simple as creating a new invoice. So from what you'll see from the Stripe part of the presentation, from that feature as well, you can just add a Stripe payment option to your invoices. So in this case, snapshot of all the invoices. We've got drafts, items awaiting for approval or waiting for payment. Instances where you'd use something like this is if you've got somebody internally in admin or bookkeeping that's creating the invoices, you want to have a final look over them and just hit OK. If I just jump into one of these. So this is sort of how an invoice would typically look like in Xero. There's an option to preview that as well. So this is what's getting sent to the client. It's very simple to edit your business logo and things like that in the settings. There's also an option of what it looks like on a phone, because obviously most people these days check their invoices on phones when they get emails. So that's sort of how you can have a look at that. Any questions relating to invoicing or any of the features within that? Bills as well works very similarly to that. So again, much the same sort of format. You can again set up repeating bills. Classic example would be if you're paying work cover or return to work as it is now. Obviously there's a component that doesn't incorporate the GST, can be a bit clumsy when you're trying to reconcile it. Simple enough to just set up a monthly reoccurring bill for that, have it all laid out. You're just hitting OK in your bank statement when that transaction comes in. So again, there's a little bit of process at the start, but once it's set up and running, it's very much a set and forget, and it takes care of itself, and you just jump in once a week or however often it is and click OK on a few things. Very simple as well if we just want to run some pretty basic reports. So if we want to look at a age payables summary, just a few clicks away, and we can see sort of the balance of payables, present date. Groups them more obviously into different months, so you can see if there's anything that's of concern. very easy to click in all the transactions. I'm obviously using the screen, but if you just had it in front of you, just hover over the mouse, click OK, it'll take you to a new window. And again, you can view this particular supplier at a transactional level. So that's the same with receivables as well. As you can see, nothing's too far away. It's just 1 or 2 clicks. In this, I'll show you another feature in a sec, but again, much the same with receivables. There's a whole host of reports you can access. Obviously, generally, it's going to be your payables, receivables, profit and loss in your balance sheet, but anything you put a star next to is then automatically going to appear in your drop-down menu as your favourites. So you can see we've got the star here, automatically adds it to that menu, which allows you to access it fairly quickly. If you're preparing your own BASs too, you can do that straight from here and submit it to the ATO as well, if you're confident enough in doing so. And then everything is grouped. So your accounting is going to be more of your transactional type things. There's payroll reports, inventory specific, purchases, and sales. Any questions on any of the reporting features? I'll just show you a basic P&L as well. So in this case, just a September P&L, doesn't really have much in it, so that's very good. So again, pretty straightforward, quick and easy to run a P&L. All these figures are just obviously fed through from that bank reconciliation screen. So as soon as you hit OK, in they go. And then how many of you here, if I just get a show of hands, is who actually employs staff? Yeah? Yeah. And you guys already obviously using the payroll feature? Timesheets, is that something you're using? No? Obviously leave, I'm assuming, and it's good. Automatic super payments, is that something you're using from here? Yep. Okay, very good. I'll just give a quick payroll summary, but essentially you just pay employees, and then very simple with your pay runs. So for those of you that are thinking of putting on employees, then this is great. We can see LeBron James has left the NBA and has joined our demo company. And again, very simple to generate pay slips.
It's just his hourly rate, right?
Yeah, it might be per second.
Yeah.
Very simple to run your pay slips. Can obviously add a logo in here, and from Xero you can email all your employees direct their pay slips, so you don't have to worry about downloading things. The other great feature is, for those of you already on Xero, do you use ABA files for your expense payments and things like that?
Not sure what that is.
So when you pay wages, how would you?
I'd say for us it's a little bit different because we're directors and employees, so it's not a true employee situation.
Yeah, okay.
Expenses for us are just straight off.
Yep. What about all your bills? How would you normally?
I enter all my bills as they come in, and then I pay them.
And then you jump into your internet banking and transact them one by one?
I pay them all by credit card, so I can chalk up the points.
Yeah, okay. In instances where you are just wanting to do a bulk payment, and you can do a batch payment.
Yeah.
So pretty straightforward. So if we jump into awaiting payment, so this is obviously going to save you time in if you've got 10 bills you need to pay, you don't need to jump into your internet banking one by one, enter the BSB, the account number, all of that. So that's all set up with each of your suppliers. So in each contact, when they send you a bill, usually on the bottom of the invoice, going to have their bank details, get saved in Xero, and then it's pretty simple. Anything that's due, we'll just select, go to a batch payment, 7 bills to pay.
So it pays just directly out of Xero. You don't have to go into internet.
You do have to go into net banking. So what will happen is you just basically follow through all these prompts. It creates a batch payment file. So in this case with demo company, we don't have all the bank account details set up. As you can see, the bank account details flow through here. I don't know if this will let me go further because I don't have one, but it then gives you the option to, so your batch payment's being created. You download an ABA file, which is just a type of payment file, and then you upload that into your internet banking. So there's a feature where you can do multiple payments at once. So it's just as simple as export batch payment file. That downloads. So in this case, it won't allow me to do it because we don't have all the bank account details in there, but you just download that, chuck it into your internet banking, hit pay, and it pays everybody at one time in one transaction. So again, it's a massive time-saving exercise. With a lot of these things as well, you might think, oh, it's something I can do down the track, but the good thing is if you can get into the habit of doing this early on, it just becomes part of what you do. So as your business grows, these systems and processes, they're there, and they're already in place, and it's just what you're doing. So adding another employee, having to pay an extra person, you don't think, well, maybe I'll start using batch files then. You might as well start using it from the start. It's going to save you time either way. Is there any questions in relation to batch payments or anything like that?
No, I'm going to give that a go.
You give that a go? Yeah, no dramas. Feel free as well, if you want to trial any of this stuff, if you want to trial batch payments, just call one of the MasterTax team, feel free to get in touch with myself. Happy to talk you through the process. Also, there's an option to pay superannuation automatically, so that just depends on your level of Xero subscription. So if you're on the $50 a month plan, you can pay super straight out of Xero, and that's automatic, so you don't have to do any sort of bank transfer or anything. Once you hit approve, within 2 days the money's out of your account, which is again very handy, very easy to keep on top of, and very straightforward. Contacts I won't touch on too much, but this is just essentially the background of where we store all the contacts. A lot of the time, you got someone that's paid you on the bank statement, you can add a new contact from that transaction screen. And then it's a case of if you want to pay somebody, you can just jump into their file, and that's where you can add their financial details, addresses, email addresses. You can also send remittances once you pay them, and everything is just stored in this contact card. If somebody changes an email, changes a phone number, changes a bank account, it's pretty straightforward to update, and allows you to just keep getting on with doing business. So I'll probably move on to Stripe unless anybody has any.
Just one on their contacts. So something I haven't dug into. I've sort of tried a couple of times. So Drake's as an example. So they've got 63 stores.
Yeah.
So I've got 63 customers.
Yeah.
I don't know any other way to generate a statement that goes to Drake's with all of those transactions. So I might have, in a month, Drake Semaphore have 3 different invoices. I might have 150 invoices from that group of customers that I've got to generate one statement to head office for. So at the moment, I'm pulling all of those transactions out because I haven't been able to find a way to get Xero to do that for me.
Yeah.
Is there a way or not?
I'll come back to you on that. So I'll get in touch with you tomorrow. That is a brilliant question.
Yeah.
No,
I'll get in touch with you on that tomorrow.
I go
I'll have a
into
look.
invoices owed, filter it down to Drake's, print it off, and then I key 140 lines.
Yeah, okay.
Which sucks.
Yeah, that would. No, that would. Okay. I'll have a look at that tomorrow, and I'll get in touch. That's not a problem.
Because even within it, there's customer groups, and I've done that, but it doesn't help.
Yeah.
So it's not in, or unless something's changed, it's not sitting in that functionality.
You want everything in one statement rather than a store by store kind of a.
It's still going to be store by store, but I should be able
just
to.
One file.
So even in invoices, I should be able to. I can batch pay those invoices once the remittance comes through.
Yep.
I should be able to batch pay that and go generate statement.
Yep. No drums.
But it sort of doesn't appear that it does let me do that yet.
Yeah. No, leave that with me. I'll get back to you, and I can let everyone else know as well, just so we arrive at a solution.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
My accounting is very simple, so I don't have, I have FPOS, and so when the payment goes in, it's just a fee. It's not a name of a company or the client.
Yeah.
So is there, that just comes up as what comes into the bank that day?
Yep.
Yeah. Is there a system where I can go in and say what's a retail product and what's a service on this?
Yeah, absolutely. So you could either do it within the transaction screen. You can just code, and obviously you're not going to have to do it. You could just have just a general contact, and then it'd just be a case of you could have multiple accounts for your income and just select which one it is. If you want to get more specific, you could use a point of sale type add-on that would provide you a little bit more specific data. So that would be something else that you could look at.
Or you'd have to generate a tax invoice.
Yeah. So
I'd imagine you'd have quite a few transactions with, clients that you do throughout the day, and to go through one by one, and so all you see is a $100 transaction.
Yeah.
You want to split it up into $40 shampoo, 40.
But even your EFTPOS doesn't split that out, so it's the same for us with the tattoo shop. It comes through as one payment for the day.
It's
You
point of sale.
probably
It just comes through
It's
as one.
another add-on.
Yeah. So there's a few different ones that you can use. If you want, I'll get in touch with. I'll get Michael to maybe pass on. I'll find out what's probably the best one for hairdressing salons.
Oh, so you'd use a point of sale system to
Yeah.
like process your payments for the customers, and
Yeah.
then that would then
Feed into Xero.
info, and then you'd get the FPOS transaction, and then it would match up. So
Yeah,
like,
correct.
this customer had these things, and then it would just feed into it from the point of sale.
Yeah, correct.
Whereas at
Yeah.
the moment, you get one.
Yeah,
You get
it's just
one line
one
come
payment.
through, so I'll get like a tattoo, 4 piercings, it just comes through $1,200, just one hit, and I don't know what we've actually, what those
So you can't make any
individual transactions are.
decisions based on like what's
What's what?
what's making
Yeah, and I've got
money.
2 subbies there, so
Yeah.
at the moment, they have to keep FPOS receipts so that we know whose is whose.
Yeah. So for something like that, we would just use a point of sale add-on, and that would provide you that data. So it would just mean you'll have another system that you log into, and as I said, there's over 1,000 we can use with Xero. So there'd definitely be one specific for your industry, so that's not a problem.
I'm pretty sure there is for hairdressing salons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No dramas. Any other Xero type questions? No challenging ones? Just want easy ones.
You're gonna have a list. At the end of this.
Nah, that's fine.
Busy day tomorrow.
That's all right. I was working from home tomorrow too. I was just going to take it easy.
But you can still find
This working from home too.
Nah, that's okay. The NBA is not on at the moment, so. All right. So, Stripe. Who currently allows their clients to pay via credit card on invoices?
About to.
Yeah, about to. Oh, this is.
About to Stripe.
They have to visit.
I'm overwhelmed. Okay, yeah. So from the invoice, that's a no. Okay. So yeah, from an invoice.
Not from invoice side, but from retail front, absolutely.
Yeah, from retail front. Yeah.
I'll have
So-
it integrated into the website.
Yeah, cool. So Stripe is a great feature because it basically allows anyone to now all of a sudden have access to using a credit card for bill payments. So I know, for instance, using an example of myself, Telstra will send me my monthly phone bill and it has Pay Now. I just click Pay Now, put my credit card details in and I pay it. Whereas my council rates come in and I've got to go to their website to pay it and I've got to go through all those things myself. I forget to do that. I'll do it later. I get like another 10 emails. A month later, it's overdue. There's a late payment fee. So this is a great feature because it gives you the option to all of a sudden now be able to transact from an invoice level using credit cards. So what I'll do is just show you a brief video on this.
Payment services in Xero mean you no longer have to go to extremes to get paid. You know the feeling, that constant struggle to get your invoices paid and keep your cash flow positive. Xero has teamed up with Stripe, so you can easily accept credit and debit card payments from your online invoices, so your customers can pay you quickly and securely. No need for them to spend time paying your invoice through online banking or cutting checks. It's easy for you to get started. Stripe can be set up as a payment service from your settings area in Xero, or straight from an approved invoice. Just go to Invoice Options and Online Payments. From here, you can sign up for a Stripe account from within Xero. Choose Get Started This will guide you through the process to set up a Stripe account. Check the details here. If you already have a Stripe account, click Sign In. Otherwise, continue. Enter your email and select the account you'd like payments to go to. Xero will create transactions automatically for the Stripe fees too. Let Xero create a new account for these, or click Edit to choose an existing one. When you're ready, choose Connect Stripe to Xero. Stripe will now send you an email to activate your account and complete your setup with it. If you've chosen to set up Stripe from the Payment Services screen in Settings, be sure to add it to a branding theme by clicking Manage Themes and adding it as a credit card. You're now ready to receive payments from the online invoices you send to customers. When your customer receives the online invoice, they just need to tap Pay Now, then follow the prompts to enter their credit or debit card details. The invoice will automatically be marked as paid in Xero, and the corresponding fee transaction will be created. Because of this, reconciliation is easy. In the bank account, Xero has automatically matched a payment received from Stripe to these customer payments and fee transactions. All you have to do is hit Reconcile. End the constant struggle of getting paid and get your cash flow flowing with the
So as you see, it's pretty easy. Allows you to have that Pay Now feature. The amount settles within 2 days. So there is a transaction fee. So it's 1.75% of the total plus a flat 30 cents per transaction. So a $100 transaction is costing you $2.05, and a $1,000 transaction is costing you $17.80 as a transaction fee. Now, you've got the ability to either pass that on to your customer or to cover the cost. So it's up to you. Obviously, if these numbers want to start getting a little bit higher, you can again pass that on, and there is that option because I mean some customers want to just pay things by credit card so they can get the points. Others may be a bit more fee conscious. So there is that option of what you decide to do. You can also set up, the customer can set up automatic payments. So they can essentially, once they give authority for the amount to be charged to their credit card, if you're sending them a monthly amount, it can basically just come out the day before the due date automatically. So that's where the Xero video touches on, you can get automatic payments and you're not having to chase your money because it's automated. So obviously, as you've seen, the reconciliation is pretty straightforward. It comes straight into the screen. It's not available. It's available everywhere except South Africa. So I was a little bit worried that it might impact some people, but I think we should be okay. So again, this is probably one of those things where I think it might benefit you in terms of a bit of time saving and things like that, but I think it definitely adds to the customer experience. Because previously, if you were just sending out an invoice, now all of a sudden there's an option for them to pay via credit card. If you do want to pass on that fee, it's not costing you anything to have it, but they now all of a sudden do have this option, and maybe you've gone from just writing out receipts to all of a sudden now people can pay via credit card, and it just makes doing business a lot easier.
So how easy is it to pass on the fees?
That's pretty straightforward. It's just in the setup. So when you first set that up, at an invoice level. So again, if you need a hand with it, just sing out. I can help you with that. That's not a problem.
I'll do that.
So
Legally, you're allowed to recover your costs, but not more. Is that right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, yep. So you won't be able to, unfortunately, we'd like to do a proper one, but yeah, you can recover the cost of that.
Yeah.
So, any other questions in terms of Stripe? What do you think? Do you think that's a good idea?
That's excellent.
Does anyone think it's bad?
No, it's really good. That's been my main thing there, is being able to pass on
The fee? Yeah. No, again, it's pretty.
And to give the customer the option.
The option, yeah. And that's the thing, we're not basically forcing them to pay like this. I just think it's just adds to the amount of
So if somebody
options.
came into the loft to pay with a credit card,
Yeah.
how would we handle that then? Would we then...
That changes things. Like then, in this instance, paying via Stripe is just paying from that direct from the invoice. So if they're paying via credit card there, you've got to have your point of sale system. So there is you can use Square for that, for instance. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, I am. No,
Yeah.
we've already got our machine.
Yeah.
And
You
can I then create their invoice and go
So yeah.
pay
So
by credit card? So
yeah,
we
no,
just
that's
put it
fine.
through Stripe. So
No, yeah. You can use your FPOS machine, and that'll just match the transaction to the invoice within Xero.
but it won't apply the charge? Apply
No, it won't, because that's only for Stripe.
1.5, 1.6
Yeah.
now anyway, so
Yeah.
you can also recover that. So same as when you go to a hotel, every charge you get, they put 1.5% on if you're paying by credit card, so you can recover that cost by credit card payment as well in your shop.
Okay.
Some people might find it offensive, so
Yeah.
we don't, but if you look at, you can't pay a hotel without a 1.5% charge. Well, some of them will hit you for 2.
Okay. That's what I need to find out, is adding that onto the invoice.
Yeah, and then keep in mind all the fees are tax deductible. So just ask the MasterTax team if you've got any concerns.
What about refunds?
Refunds
Yeah.
so something that's been
Yeah, like if you
Use-
use an invoice and then you, like for example, relish you put the wrong thing in or
Yeah.
something like that, and you need to refund a portion of it. Like, is there a process in there for doing that?
it's basically going to be just a reverse of what's happened. So you, instead of like just how you raise an invoice, you would basically raise like a credit note,
Okay.
and then you apply that to the transaction.
And you can do like a partial credit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you can do a partial credit. If somebody was like, you could apply it to like a future transaction as well, if it's over. So,
Good question.
any other Stripe questions?
To charge the fee or not to charge the fee?
Yeah, that's the biggest question. No, that's the thing, because it comes down to the relationship you have with your clients. If you look at it from a point of view of
$7,000, $8,000
It's
transaction.
it's significant.
Every time I look at it, I go, oh, God.
So at the end of the day, having
So
that.
then even if it dissuades them from paying with their credit card, I go, oh, I think I'll EFT that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, it's just another way that you can do that transaction. And there's no annual fee, so you can sign up for Stripe, but have that option there. If no one uses it, well, it's not costing you anything.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of it. We're not having to pay $100 a month or a year.
It's not a subscription based.
No, it's just transactional based.
Yeah.
All right. So then the next one we have is GoCardless. And I'll play. Here we go. So this is similar to Stripe, but it's basically allows a transaction to take place straight out of the bank account.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Gordon. I'm the Managing Director of FD Works and we're based in Bristol. We started off probably the way that everyone does start their business, where we sent out an invoice. We found out pretty quickly that not everyone pays on the due date. And so it started getting the way of the relationship where we had to keep on asking them, oh yeah, can you pay your bill? And when you're a young business, cash flow's pretty tight. We knew that we had to find a different solution. And then we started looking at direct debits. It seemed to be the perfect solution because it enabled us to pick and choose when we were able to collect the money, and there's also an awful lot of protection around it from our client's point of view. So they get warning that the money's going to be taken from their accounts and it's held for a period of time. So it seems to work for everyone, and it gave us the flexibility that we needed. How does GoCardless work with our existing software? It's seamless. We use Xero, and we only use Xero within our practice. We think it's a really powerful add-on to Xero. Stop thinking and just put it into action. It's a complete no-brainer. If you're using Xero, it will take a whole heap of pain out of you getting paid, and you getting paid on time.
So is that like the equivalent, but it's direct debit instead of using a card?
Correct. So yeah, very similar. Similar type of fees as well. So this one will 3 working days for the process to occur. So 1% versus 1.75, and there's a 40-cent flat fee on top of that, as opposed to the other one, which was 30. And then I think the maximum transaction cost is $4, but there is I will admit, a cost if transactions go above a certain level. And again, This one is no good for South Africa and some countries in Asia too, which doesn't actually impact us here. This one's, again, just another way you can transact sales. So it allows for basically like a direct debit system to be set up, or you can do it just individually and the money goes straight out of the bank account. So rather than the customer having to jump to the bank account, EFT you the payment, they can just do it straight out of an invoice level. Obviously it does incur that fee, so that's just something to be mindful of.
And where do you add that in? The same place as Stripe? As
Yep.
a payment?
Yeah, works exactly the same way.
And then can you say 3 direct, how does it work?
Essentially it's just the same as Stripe. So you would just have a feature there that allows people to, so it allows people to EFT from the invoice.
So the invoice have 2 options, like it could be like pay by Stripe, pay by GoCardless.
Yeah, exactly right. And so what would happen if you had a customer that bought from you regularly, they could chuck their EFT details in there, and then next time your invoice comes in, they just hit pay via EFT, and then it automatically gets paid. So they don't have to go fill everything in yet, do another authority. Once the authority process is completed once, allows the transaction to happen multiple times.
IT stuff. So that sounds like like our internet
Yeah.
provider's a local guy, so that's $17.50 a month, and we've set that up on a direct debit, so they'd be using something like that. So where you've got a consistent payment with that subscription type model.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah, and then again, that falls back onto you don't have to follow people up for these amounts. It just becomes automatic once people do sign up to it. So again, it's going to save you time and adds to that customer experience.
And you don't have to worry about holding any of their account details, because this function holds all of their private
Correct.
bank account details.
Yep. Anything else on GoCardless? All right. The last one is just practice ignition. So practice ignition is a little bit different in that it basically links to Xero Practice Manager. I'll keep this one pretty brief because I'm not sure how much is going to apply to everybody here in the room. But essentially, there's another Xero product called Xero Practice Manager, which allows you to manage jobs. So we use that at a practice level to manage, doing your financials, your tax returns, advisory work, things like that. We have some clients that are surveyors. They use the same thing to manage their workflow. What it allows you to do is practice ignitions and add on that attaches into that. So I'll just use Altitude Advisory as an example. We send you a proposal at the start of the year with the engagement letter, list of all the services that we're going to do for you. If that's $24,000 a year, you hit OK. On the 15th of every month, you just get a direct debit comes out of your bank account for $2,000 a month plus GST. So all of our clients work on that model through Practice Ignition. It then deploys a job straight into Xero Practice Manager, and then we can allocate time to that as we work on that. So in using the example of our client with the surveyors, works very much the same way with them. They gets accepted, job deploys, guy goes out onto site. So I've got a quick video as well that I'll show you on that.
Firms of all sizes use Practice Ignition to send powerful online proposals and manage ongoing client engagements in one place. Practice Ignition works seamlessly with Ledger and practice management software to help you run your client-centric firm. When your client accepts a proposal, Practice Ignition will automatically deploy jobs in your workflow tool, create invoices in your Ledger, collect payments in Practice Ignition, and mark your invoices as paid. Creating a proposal is simple. You can use a template or start from scratch. You'll add your client details, choose how many proposal options to present, add the services to be provided, the price and fee schedule. your preferred payment methods, your engagement terms, and your ideal workflow settings. You can also preview your proposal so you're confident your client will love it before you hit send. Once your client receives your proposal, they can easily review, add their billing details, and sign your proposal on the go. The magic begins the moment your client accepts your proposal. Behind the scenes, we'll deploy the relevant job and tasks in your practice management software based on the services in your proposal. Practice Ignition also creates invoices in your ledger to match the fee schedule your client agreed to. If your client has agreed to pre-approved payments when they signed your proposal, you'll get paid automatically without lifting a finger. Otherwise, you can give your client the option to review your invoice and pay online. Either way, your invoice will be marked as paid in your ledger software automatically. With Practice Ignition, you can take your workflow automation, reporting and client relationships to the next level. To find out more, visit practiceignition.com.
So I guess I'll pick on Anne again.
Might be a bit smooth for us.
So making sales, what's sort of the most expensive sale? You probably
$15,000.
$15,000. So what you could do, run that through Practice Ignition, send out a proposal, the client accepts it. If that's going to take a month, 2 months to be made, they would basically pay that in advance in instalments, and then you'd kind of time the sale being made with that final payment. So it just sort of steadies your cash flow. You can budget based on what amounts are coming in. But just again, another tool that's out there, very much linked to actually having physical jobs that need to be worked on. So, any?
Dan, you mentioned once a month. Payment can be automated once a month. Can you vary that?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of your scenario and where you might want to ask for an upfront deposit.
Yeah. We take a 50% deposit before we start the work.
Yeah, so you can vary it any way you want, whether you want to do it weekly, monthly,
So
twice a month.
Deposit and then on completion sort of thing.
Yeah.
So like milestone payment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are there other apps that you can integrate for like Afterpay or ZipPay or things like that as well?
Yep.
And they work in the same way?
Yeah, pretty much the same way. So anything like that, feel free to shoot.
Yeah. Just for my customer base, that'll be like forecasting easily 30-40% of my customers will use Afterpay, and it's the profit you make off it is still better than having no sale at all. It's just not as much as if someone just uses it as a credit.
Yeah, anything like that, just feel free to reach out to the MasterTax team.
What percentages?
Like
12 and up.
Yeah, some of them are like 20%.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what I suggested it. Not to make no.
yeah. You got to have good enough profit margin to even justify it.
If someone can't be a grown up and rack up a credit card debt, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I got a very different demographic.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a few of them. So they all those ones can be integrated pretty much the same way.
Yeah, basically most things can be integrated. Obviously, if there is something that can't be integrated to Xero, most of the main ones can. You want to go with something that can be integrated because it just feeds straight into your bank feed. It just makes life a lot easier. You don't want to have to add like a middleman process to that. We have to manually do anything.
As much as possible.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, cool.
So.
That's good to know.
The one thing I liked with that was the proposal options, because that's one problem I've got with our quotes.
Yep.
Which I'll have a look at.
Yeah, I mean,
we do all that sort of thing, but.
And I feel like after tomorrow you're implementing Stripe, GoCardless, Practice Ignition, full suite.
And batch payments.
I might even order a sale tomorrow just to see how it works.
Please don't.
After I deal with the statement issue, we'll get through that. Yeah, very good. Any more questions on anything?
No,
what's the price of Practice Ignition compared to the other options?
Practice Ignition is relatively expensive. So I don't have the exact figures for that one, but I can let you know. But that one is just because it offers a lot more services. So in terms of, from an accounting practice point of view, you can issue an engagement letter, the proposal, the different options. So you really, if you're going to roll that out, you need to roll it out to basically your whole client base. It's not like a Stripe or a GoCardless where you just have it sitting in the background if you want to use it. You really need to go 100% sort of implementation for that.
That was really useful. Thank you. That was really good.
No worries. Well, if that's it, then let's drink some more of Michael's beer.
That was great.
Thank you, Dan.